People, Deluded, I'm back again. Season's greetings and all of these sort of things to you. Really should have moved everything out of the way. It's Friday, which means it's Q&A day. All of what you're seeing is irrelevant, but to be fair, I actually haven't made the video yet that I should be making with this. FYI, a bit of behind the scenes before I do these tactical videos, or like the sadder I am, I sit here and replay the tactics here or on there, like just enough times really, because I like football and that. But Fridays is Q&A days, and without you lot, this can't happen. And as we get to the end of the year and I ponder, obviously in my private and professional life, like I say in each and every video, it's appreciative the support you give me, the kind words, simply watching my content, the constructive criticism. Some of you, it borders on following my stuff religiously, people. Like, there's certain usernames every vid I'm thinking, I already spam you lots emails. How are you finding time to watch every video? You're a madman, or a mad woman. But it's appreciative, whoever you are, wherever you are. Let me not waste any more of your time waffling about irrelevant things and allow me to crack on with the question and answers. Johnny said, I heard on a video you did with Turkish. Shout out to my guy Turkish. Go and check out his channel if you don't know about him. Can't imagine you don't know about him, but if you don't, there's the plug. Let me repeat that. I heard on a video you did with Turkish that you wanted to one day work for Arsenal's youth academy. What is it exactly you hope to do there? Keep grinding, love the content, man. Real G. Thank you very much for your kind words, Johnny, and yeah, man, thank you very much for following my thing. Don't know in regards to specifics. I would just like to work for Arsenal in some capacity. Now, if I'm completely honest, I think to a degree my ties might have been severed if they are with the club. I don't think I'll ever officially work for Arsenal in an official capacity, just being deluded Gooner and the content I've said, and rightly or wrongly, I've always given my honest opinion. I'm not saying Arsenal or any other club, but I do think you pay the price for saying it as it is. I'm not saying there's not other people, but you know there's people that hold their tongue or say certain things and whatnot. And I love my club. I love our young players. You lot, there'll be a day I can write books and tell you lot more than you actually know at this time. But I would love to work at Haylen, man. I would love to all London Coley, but first Haylen, because I love youth players. I love the youth development. That's actually my favourite bit of content when I'm doing little scouting videos and under 17s this and under 18s this. That's what I like the most, because don't get it twisted, I love football, but I love youth development and talent ID and all of these sort of things. So why wouldn't I like to first and foremost improve that eye for talent, or that curiosity I have, improve on it, become more consistent, obviously earn a living through it, where I can, who wouldn't want to wake up Monday to Friday, something you love, more so at the club I love, do you get it? And obviously I'm a North London lad. I mean, working at A-Land, for me, there'll be no more zone 1 to 4 Oyster card. I'll save a bit of pennies in my pocket. Probably take me, what, if there's traffic, it might even be half an hour to get there, really and truly, people. Like, it would be lovely. I'll probably go home for lunch and that and things, so it would be even more perfect. But in short, that's why, my dude. Thank you for your question. Like I said, Arnaldo, I believe, has said, what's up, DG? I hope you're well, my guy. Should youth players have a limit on how much they get paid before they sign a professional contract? I know it's their money and they're entitled to spend it how they are, but some spend the most of it on high-end designer brands like Balenciaga, Gucci and others. When you are young and earning so much money, you tend to take away your mind from the only thing that got you there, which is your love for football, and that love for football can gradually decrease. You're a smart lad. I can't knock you for thinking that. I sit on the fence with it. I'm not going to lie, my guy. Like I said, you are 100% correct in what you said and the effects it can have on certain people and whatnot, my dude. But I do think in the grand scheme of things, no matter, again, I share your opinion, I'm fully behind that, but in the grand scheme of things, what footballers earn is pennies. And for me, seeing firsthand the sacrifices that, let alone the players, the mothers and fathers that are on the breadline, and because obviously you and me, if I ain't got a kid, but if I had a kid right now, and I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to assume you're a young lad, yeah. If you had a kid right now, it would be a struggle to raise them and struggle to put food in their belly, and obviously people got other kids, much less taking them 3 times a week to, I know lads that are from North London that play for Chelsea, for example, my dude, and when you're 8 years of age, your mother and father's got to find a way to get you there up to 4 times a week. Obviously, some clubs, and I know Chelsea do, they've got trusted people that will meet players halfway, become guardians and get them through it. But that doesn't happen for everyone. Forgot his name, but there's a lad at QPR now. He was going from one side of London to the other on trains and that. And I see a lot of that. Sometimes I even see young players late and they're told they have attitude problems. But it's not that they're late. It's because their mother or father is trying to earn money. So they can't get them there on time. So they have to take 2-3 trains after school and things like that. And things like that. So what they earn is pennies. I think it's like any job. Like, regardless, money can ruin anyone. Obviously, when you're a footballer, you're already known. Probably get any girl you want. Any you know, you're getting this. You can buy designers. You're getting free stuff. You're treated like a god, rightly or wrongly, in society. People idolize everyone, not just footballers, celebrities, everything. And that can be a lot depending on how you was growing up, your mindset, your morals, all of these things. And even if you are raised the right way or have the right principles, it is testing when you're thrown into this certain society sort of thing, people. So you're 100% correct. But I sit on the fence because I don't believe you should really block earnings. If a player's worth it, they're worth it. You get, like, look at Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's on 100 and something a week. I don't think he's getting gassed off his P's. Right now he's not in form, and certain idiots would point towards that, but he's not in form because he's a young lad, he's had injuries and he's learning his trade. It obviously comes to the mindset, like a lot of, let's say, the London people, my immediate reality, growing up as well, even in school. Obviously, the girls, the attention, everything is going to the guys who got the P's or the latest crep. So that sort of thing continues. And when you're dons from London and, like I said, your mother's struggling or you can't get these things or you ain't got no other route to get these things, they're going to do it. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't think there's nothing wrong with buying the drip and having nice things as long as, like you said, the mentality's there. I think it's more an education thing, my dude, because if it's not necessarily money, it can be other things. Like, I think Townsend and Stephen Coker, ironically both previously at Spurs, not knocking the club, but they were young lads, obviously fairly wealthy, sent on loans, and they both started gambling and whatnot. That's why I think it's more, and they lost a lot of money doing them things. So I think it's more an education thing. Like, obviously you can't save everybody. I do think, and there are some clubs that unofficially do this cap thing. Like, I hear Spurs got something like that, Liverpool got something like that. Obviously there's probably exceptions to the rules and whatnot, but there's got to be that. Obviously, like I said, you're 100% correct, but I sit on the fence, man. I think there's cases 2 and 4. I think the only thing you can say is education, because whether you're getting, and £4 a week is a lot to me, I'm not earning that, but let's say whether you're getting £4 a week or 300,000 a week like Ozil, if you're going to be silly with money, you're going to be silly already. I'm sure you know in your mentality, in your reality, individuals in your, probably in your private life or your friends or your man, them or family or whatever, they're not earning footballers' wages, but they're equally as stupid with money. I see it myself. They're stupid. Like, money's a drug, because as soon as it's in your hand, people, myself included, you thought about whether it's bills or whatever before it's already there, innit? And certain people it's just a madness. So I think it's more money management, really. How much you can save someone regardless of education and whatnot, it is what it is. You can, obviously, wasting £4 a week isn't the same as wasting 20 if there's trust funds. I advocate all that trust fund sort of stuff, certain money you can access when you know, all of these sort of things to help them not get in that situation. I think you support it, but it's always going to happen, and it's probably it's a societal thing, really, beyond football, because it doesn't matter. Even in YouTube, if you blow off YouTube, you get a lot of money, obviously you're treated like a god or whatever, you're going to do dumb stuff if that's in your nature to a degree, or if you've been led down that path. So that's a good question, my dude, and I've started to think the video was about that. That's a great question. My phone's locked, so let me carry on. Thank you for your question, my dude. AS9 has said, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, DG. Do us Arsenal fans overhype and glorify Pepe a bit too much? I may be wrong, but I remember Pepe's first interview with BT Sport. He said how the first manager he had doubted him because of his overall attitude. He didn't feature much under Emery, left on the bench by Lomberg, and Arteta even left him on the bench. It's not 1 or 2, but 3 managers now have opted for other players over him. It's a good question, man. Good question. And first and foremost, like with the previous 2, thank you for your question, my dude. And I can't really answer because I'm not on the training ground in things, but I fully agree. There's no smoke without fire. I personally believe Pepe is a quality player. I don't think he has an attitude problem per se, but there's got to be a reason as to, well, Pepe, he took a while. Emery took a while to really introduce him, but he played a fairly decent amount under Emery, really and truly. He could have started more, could have got 90 minutes more, but he featured a decent amount. Obviously, Lomberg, at the time, Lomberg couldn't afford to pick up passengers, and obviously, It might be Pepe not applying himself in training, which he needs to. Could be feeling a bit sorry for himself. It could be low on confidence. It could just be loss in form. Or Pepe might not be doing anything wrong. They're just other options. Nelson might just be the better option they deem, which is obviously concerning because we spent 70 odd million on Pepe. But there could even be an injury. I'm not saying there is. I don't know, man. I wouldn't say anybody overhyped Pepe purely because obviously fans are excited. 72 million, the YouTube clips and all of these things. But I don't think anybody's there screaming he's this and that. I'll give Arsenal fans credit. We do. I'm the first to say, myself included, when Arsenal fans are moving mad. But many Arsenal fans, even when he wasn't playing well, we was recognising it's going to be a slow burner. He needs to do more. But there were certain encouraging signs. So I'm not sure we necessarily overhyped him. Obviously, right now he's failing to deliver. The only solace he can take from that is, I don't think he'll hit these players' levels, but he needs to draw inspiration from Perez, Bergkamp and Thierry Henry. If he can have a fraction of their success at this club, he'll be held in high regards. But the specific reason for mentioning them, after 6 months, if they were judged and whatnot after 6 months in their Arsenal careers, where would they be? Of course, he's a different player. Time is different, but he's got to adapt, and it's going to take a while. But I like Pepe, man. I don't feel anybody overhyped him though. But nonetheless, thank you for your question, and it could very much well be an attitude problem, like I listed with many different things. But nonetheless, man, love for that. Radwan has said, realistically, where do you think Arsenal will be finishing this season under Arteta? Hopefully 5th or 6th. Obviously, I would love 4th. 4th is out of the question. 5th or 6th in an ideal world. You have to be prepared with how we're playing and where we are right now to potentially finish as low as 10th, 11th. That's through not Arteta's fault, because he's got to work his magic, and we're here because of years of mismanagement from all levels, and whether it was short, long or medium term. But I don't know, my guy, because he's only had one game. It was a more encouraging performance, but if we go and get smacked against Chelsea, are these same people that are quick to say these things about Arteta, are they going to have the same energy? And I do think Arsenal fans, we've got to rein it in a bit. Sunday was a poor performance, it wasn't a performance of a top 4 club. In the context of how Arsenal have been this season and Arteta taking over, it was a quality is a strong word, it was a good performance. There was encouraging signs, created more shots. For once, and if it's not positive because you should be taking chances, but we sat here and said we never took chances, rather than Arsenal was sitting here under Emery saying we're not creating nothing. So there are some positives. We've got a long way to go. A betting man would probably bet on Chelsea to win at the weekend. So with that, all I want to see is a confident performance from the boys. Not confident in that you believe you're better than you are, but just stand up to be counted at the Emirates. Repay the faith of Arteta that he's given some of you, saying the slate is clean. Obviously, clarity of the mind. We can't forget why we're in this position, but at the same time, there's no point sitting these players, regardless of if I believe they're good enough or not, sitting there and thinking, why did we concede that against Bournemouth? Why did we do this against Brighton, Wolves, etc.? They've got to move on from it. Learn from it, but move on and play. Have the clarity in the mind and the confidence that you're going to do this thing. And when we can get the basic principles of a team and they really buy into Arteta and whatnot, then who knows? But right now, it's just a case of Arteta having to try and work some magic, get to know the players, train the players, get a baseline of play, in which we did see certain things. Don't want to get too excited because it's one game. I mean, Arteta could play 3 at the back and be defensive his whole Arsenal career. I don't think that'd be him, but I just really don't want to draw conclusions based on one game. But I like what I'm seeing from Arteta. But in regards to how Arsenal can finish, don't know, my dude, honest to God. SK said, Merry Christmas, DG. Big up yourself. Love the content. Thank you very much, bro. What are your thoughts on Bakare Samore from Lille? I love him, man. He's big. He's obviously composing. He's a big fella. Decent technically. You're seeing 60 million price tags and whatnot. So I don't know if that's an avenue Arsenal will necessarily go down. But he's got a fan in me. Alaji said, how are you, DG? I'm good, my dude. How are you? You said, do you think our fan base can lead to Arteta's downfall, because our fan base are quick to get on a person's back? Potentially, I mean, you do see scapegoating of players, of managers, potentially. Obviously, what will define Arteta's successful period here is if the board give him players to work with, but fundamentally, if Arteta gets results, that's as fickle as football is. I know why Arsenal are in this position. I know you know the same, but as fickle as football is, regardless of the micro and macro problems, he gets good results. People leave him alone. Obviously, football fans are special and they flip-flop on players and managers week to week. They probably change their boxes less times than they do opinions, people. Well, it is what it is. I don't know, man. Potentially. SK's also asked, what do you think we do with Guendouzi now? Xhaka and Torreira is a pretty solid partnership. I'm not a fan of Xhaka, but his performances have gone so under the radar. I don't want to say they've gone under the radar, my dude, but I know what you mean in that people are the first to draw him out and get onto him, and a lot of players, but not recognised. Personally, since he's been back into the first team since, the nonsense with the fans, I think he's only had one bad game by my logic, and even that he weren't the worst performer. I think he's been very good since he's come back. Like you said, you've got to play it fair. Whether he's going to be here long term, whether I or you believe necessarily he is a guy to really improve us and take us to the next level, whether Arteta believes that remains to be seen as well. And in regards to Guendouzi, I mean, this is what football is about. Guendouzi, realistically, in an ideal world, if we had competent midfielders, should be a rotation option, third choice. And what I mean by that is he plays substantially, but you're not necessarily relying on him. He's young, he's experienced, but on the large face of things, he's inexperienced. He's shown great courage as a young G, but he's inexperienced. He's just simply out the team card. Them man, they have earned their spot. In the same way earlier in the season, Guendouzi was playing out of his skin, so he was the first name on the team sheet. He went off the ball a bit. Xhaka's revitalised himself. Torreira, I mean, it's a miracle you play a man in his actual position and he does his thing. There's not much he can do but apply himself in training, wait for his chance and then take it. Obviously, I'm not saying rely on injuries, but obviously if injuries and rotation happens, because we're playing a lot of games in the festive period, you've got to take your chances when they come. Like you've said, them and Xhaka and Torreira have been solid there, so they don't deserve to be dropped until someone declines or they have a worse performance than they're doing now. Elijah's also said, when are you going to bring on Curtis? Whenever Curtis wants, man. Curtis, if you're watching this, man, come, let's do this, man. I've hollered him a few times, man. That guy's slippery still. Shout out to my guy Curtis, man. But he's always welcome to pass through, and he has cut through before. Whenever he's free, man, we'll do this thing. Richard Cox has said, hi, love your content. I think I've mentioned it a few times on Instagram. Cheers, bro. Didn't know what I wanted to say there, but cheers, fella. Question I have, how long do you think the fans will give Arteta? After watching the game against Bournemouth, I saw more than I have in the past few months in regards to pressing, getting through the lines. Ark says our fan base can become quite toxic very quickly. And you're right, they can. Because I feel our fans, we get gassed too quickly and then we get too upset. Do you get it? In the same way, obviously, I think Arteta, based on that game, there was encouragement, but we've got to give him time. We've got to praise and critique fairly. I think in football, just in general with fans, we're too quick to take a stand and gas things. And Arsenal fans, they're killing Reece Nelson and Saka now. They've been bred. When Nelson was scoring in Germany, them little 30-second clips when he weren't necessarily having the best of games, they couldn't stop raving about him. Saka was the flavour of the month the other day, and now they're hating on him. He does need to improve his crossing, and again, constructive criticism. But our fans flip-flop. The players, the manager, the club cannot control that. They cannot control YouTubers ranting. They cannot control fans flip-flopping. It is what it is. I think that's what I was saying at the beginning. We can't be too quick. I want Arteta to do well. I'm not saying have some war up against Arteta. I'm just saying every day that comes or every game that comes, review it, and as we move forward with games played, then we can draw some sort of analysis and have a synopsis based on Arteta's early impression of what he wants to do here. Similar with Emery, people were quick to proclaim this, that and the other, and if you spoke against it, like you saw in a lot of my vids, I got a lot of hate for it. It weren't because I wanted Emery to do right or wrong, it's just when I'm looking at the football, it's not matching up to certain things. Do you get it, people? And there's nothing wrong with that. I think fans use Emery as a lesson to just really review things. Give Arteta your time. Really recognise he needs time and his players are poor. But at the same time, praise with the same energy and critique with the same energy. Don't get too, ranting and that. And don't think it's all fun and games. Because we're not a football club that's that right now. I don't know, man. Our fans are special. But right now, I believe in Arteta. Until Arteta gives me something to say, okay, you're not the guy, like I gave with Emery. You've got your time to work something, do your thing. It gets to a point where I don't believe in you, then you can't begrudge fans for turning. That doesn't mean with pitchforks, man has to come out. But yeah, I'm fully behind Arteta. I'm fully Arteta in. Like, I think Arteta's going to be a success here. I hope he is. But if it comes to the time where we're 2 years into this, or, where I'm looking at, I'm like, boy, Arteta, you're not doing stuff, then be like, it's time to keep it moving, like with Emery. I gave Emery my time. I critiqued and praised fairly. It became evident that he needed to move on, and then it became really evident he needed to move on. So I don't know for fans, my dude, man. Abuki said, Do you listen to any Arsenal podcasts? Sadly, no, apart from normal people. Well, the normal people you normally either catch me on content with from time to time, or just really the Sky Sports and things like that. I don't really pay attention to anything else, really and truly, man. Sorry. D Solo has said, salute DG, season's greetings, and shout out to the Ray and nephew. Well, that's, yeah, man, I had to get another bottle. You know how Jamaicans are with Ray and nephew. But, and Janko Batty. But, moving forward, you've said, with Arteta's non-negotiable approach, where do you think he'll get us this season? I don't know in relation to league position, but what I want to see is an army of players, like soldiers in the trenches. You're fully buying into what Arteta's on. You're giving your all, because too many a times I've watched Arsenal and we haven't lost to we have lost to the better men, but it ain't been because we gave it our all and they were just the better men at the day. It's because of the cheap things we've been doing, and I just want to see them apply themselves and play with the same way that these players from time to time, post, pre, and just comments in general, they talk like winners, but I don't really see them behaving like winners. Forget winning trophies. Fight from start to finish, and we haven't seen a lot of that. To a degree, Bournemouth was positive steps, but we need to move forward, and I hope that non-negotiable approach just weeds out the guys who are on this thing from the guys who are cowards. The cowards keep it moving. Like, if I was Arteta said it all and I couldn't tell him anymore, but I'll tell the players, like, I believe in some of you. I wouldn't tell them who I would, but which these are. But I'd say some of you are going to let me down, some of you are going to be iffy, and some of you are going to fly high. What side do you want to be on? And I'd honestly, off the back of that, say, any of you guys who are not on this thing, let me know now. Like, come to my office. You don't have to say it in front of everyone. Come to my office and say, this ain't what I'm on. Because if you want to, like, we're hearing players want to go play Champions League clubs, players don't want to be here, bust up with fans, all these fans want this guy out because of his wages. Whoever does want to be here for whatever reason or has any sort of cold feet, I won't begrudge you in the grand scheme of things, but keep it moving, and let's move with the soldiers who want to be here. That's what I want to see, and that's the minimum I want to see. Just Arteta, obviously, with his players, able to put his stamp on the team, or just some early beginnings in what we want to be like, because there isn't much Arteta can do this season. In an ideal world, of course, we somehow go on a run, we do the impossible of getting top 4, win Europa League as well, or even in another reality, because of how crap we've been, we win Europa League. But I'm not trying to live in fairyland. The most I just want to see from him is, let's just reset from the basics and just learn how to defend as a basic Premier League team, and just the basics. Let's just get the basics spot on and let's talk from there, really. Omar has said, do you think Arteta will really do what he says, or is it a case of words? Time will tell. Tones has said, do you think Eddie Nketiah will come back and be a key player for Arsenal? Not a clue. Fingers crossed, because you know I like our academy folk. Isaac has said, Chelsea fan, if you watch the Spurs game, thoughts on Tammy's performance and his all-round play that game? I think he did quite well with his hold-up play, pressing. He did all right with his defensive work. I think Tammy did okay in that game, really. Shout out to William, because that set piece, it was poor from Spurs, but it wasn't a banger. But you could read what he wanted to do, and yeah, man, I like William still. To be fair with you, he gets a lot of criticism, but as you as Chelsea fans, you lot are watching him consistently and whatnot. So you lot are free to say what you want, but I got time for Williams still. Lameno has said, do you rate Eder Miliato and would you take him at Arsenal? I mean, first time I found out about him, I'm not going to lie, was in Football Manager. Watched him last season at Porto. Specific game I remember was them versus Galatasaray, because Ozcan Kabak, who is now Schalke, I believe, was playing as well. I would take him at Arsenal, and like I said, he's an FM legend. I was playing him defensive, mid, centre-half and right-back. In real life, on a serious note, he is decent, but because of the money Real Madrid spent and whatnot, you'd imagine he's going to be a first-team player of sorts. Obviously, I'm not watching Real Madrid religiously, but when I've had time or watched them, I've predominantly seen Varane and Ramos. Other fans of the club or people watching them can tell me wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. So I'm inclined to believe it's exactly what you believed, in that he's going to be a third choice, or he's going to have to wait to break in. So yeah. Diabolical said, what are your New Year's resolutions? I'd say just to simply improve. I'll let you know one. I'd say 20,000 subscribers. The unrealistic game is 50,000 subscribers by this time next year, but I'd say the gain that's on my list for goals of 2020 is to hit 20k subs. So fingers crossed we can do that by the end of 2020, my dude. Moving on to Twitter, where there's some other questions now, people. Apologies, because I really should at myself a link to the tweet in which I ask for your Q&As each and every time. If you're not following me, Deluded Gooner 04 at Deluded Gooner 04. Can't imagine you're not, because I always tell you lot. And if you read the descriptions, you'd see it. For those of you that are being naughty and not doing that. And like the guy I am, I cannot find that, people. At Deluded Gooner. Let me take it old school and search my old tweets. I apologise so much, people. I completely forgot I asked you lot questions on Twitter until... well, I had to answer them, really. It was a bit of a silly one from me. There we go. Found it. Apologies for that, people. D. Markland has said, personally, I feel the dressing room became a mess. Lost the meaning of what it means to play like for a player at Arsenal once Aaron Ramsey left. I feel he was a big part of our minor successes last season in regards to comebacks and big games. Thoughts? Oh, yeah. Ramsey was a big player. I'd say I don't really agree necessarily. I think we've just got a lack of leadership and a lot of problems generally in our dressing room. But I see what you mean. I mean, even if you didn't believe in Arsenal, I do think it's a close bunch of players. And regardless what you mean on these players, but what your opinions on these players, but you hear Mkhitaryan was a favourite player in that dressing room. Koscielny's left too the same. And they all, whether the players had opinions on them or not, or if we legitimately know about these player relations, it appears that these players have decent relations regardless of players' immediate futures. They only look like the only player that I genuinely got the vibe as a fan that they might not be fond of is actually Alexis Sanchez. That's the only player I've really got that. So I think it's not a case of Ramsey, it's just the problems that have been here. But I guess, like you know, Aaron Ramsey is one of the few players actually pulled his socks up and was on this thing. So yeah, but equally we've seen us play a mess when Ramsey's played as well through no fault of his own. So thanks for your question, but moving on, Johanny has said, should Emil Smith-Rowe get a Premier League loan or a Championship loan? I'd like to see him go to the Premier League. Tavin has said, opinions on Saka as a future left back. You never know how football can turn out, but I personally feel his future is further forward. So yeah, thanks for your question. Taddy Betty has said, where do you see this Arsenal squad in 5 years' time realistically? Well, assuming everything goes to plan, I'd like to think they could be a top 4 side. I'm not talking about the players, like the whole squad. I'm talking about these young players and players, the very few players in this side that you can make a case for moving on with, together with additions, and with my belief in Arteta. If everything goes to plan, I'd like to believe in the next 5 years we could become a team at least challenging for the top 4 spaces again. And obviously I'd like to win leagues and things like that, but let's just deal with immediately getting back to how we are. So yeah. D Double said, who's your player of the decade? That's a tough one, man. It's got to be Lionel Messi. Like, it can't be nothing else other than Lionel Messi for me, man. From what, 2010 till, I know it's not 2020 technically now, but Messi's been on straight crud, so it can't be anyone but Messi, man. Well, it could be a certain Portuguese lad, but I'm Team Messi all the way. AU has said, what do you make of Arteta's praise and comments on Xhaka? Sorry to plug my old video, but I've actually spoken on this in one of my latest videos. So if you check my content, you'll find that and find my extended thoughts. Apologies, I can't say your name, my guy, but Ajib, I believe. Thoughts on Arsenal's new assistant coaches and goalkeeping coach for Arsenal? Well, my only opinion is that I'm happy that we finally got some backroom staff in, because I know Lundberg was kind of getting a bit vexed about that, so that's been sorted. I don't know them religiously and things, but from the research, they all appear to be fairly innovative. Innovative is not the right word. I was going to gas them and say innovative because I was thinking of a paragraph I read from a sentence, but the right word is they just seem well educated and experienced in what they're doing. For me, and I'm hoping, is that the key word with experience is that they can help Arteta and guide him through it. In particular, the goalkeeping coach, you're hearing he does some innovative training sessions and he does this and that. Arsenal fans remember when we always had problems with Arsenal goalkeeping coaches. I remember when with Chesney, who was the Arsenal coach then, goalkeeping coach. He used to catch corn for that. But hopefully they can work with Leno, and hopefully he's of the similar philosophy as Arteta, being Spanish and having the same ethos, and obviously tying in with what I assume Arteta wants to do is playing out from the back, or continue where ironically Emre left off. And to be fair, that might be the one good thing Emre might have left here, you know, beyond giving Saka and them man his debut and Martinelli, might actually be slight ability to play out from the back, because that's almost one consistency you can say of this Arsenal side. We can criticise the way it's played, but there's a consistent approach and willingness to play out from the back. Obviously, there's some individuals unable to do that. Crystal Havertz has said, why do we play Bournemouth in the second... Why do we play... I don't get this question, my dude. Why do we play Bournemouth second tie before... Apologies, but finally Crystal said, why do we play Bournemouth second tie before playing Chelsea? I can only say I believe that's just how the Premier League schedule dons did that, really and truly, my dude. It's just how they've done it. But yeah, it's been a lovely Q&A. Don't really have anything more to add. So I'm going to get out of here, people. DG.